Hey guys, in this video we'll review the Asus TUF Gaming F15 laptop. This is my first performance oriented laptop. I've always been a desktop user, but now it was time to get a laptop as a backup option as well as for its added flexibility. I wanted a laptop which was at least 75% as powerful as my desktop, had many of the latest features, was upgradable at least in terms of RAM and storage, and wasn't too expensive. So I chose the TUF F15 and I'm quite happy with it. This is my first time reviewing a laptop, as I usually review smartphones, so please be nice in the comment section and please control your urge to dislike this video in case I miss anything important. Anyways, disclaimer done. Now without any further ado, let's get started. In terms of physical layout, this is a 15.6-inch display along with an HD webcam and 2 microphones. Here you get an RGB backlit keyboard including a numpad as well as a touchpad with physical buttons for left and right click. This is the power button and these are the indicator lights. On the left there are a lot of ports, a power port, Gbps LAN Port, HDMI, 2 USB Type-A ports, ThunderBolt 4 port and a 3.5mm combo audio jack. On the right there is a single USB Type-A port and Kensington lock. In terms of internal specs, there is 11th Gen i5 11400H CPU, 16GB DDR4 dual channel RAM clocked at 3200 MHz, an RTX 3060 GPU with 6GB VRAM and 512GB NVMe SSD. To power it all, there is a big 90Wh 4-cell battery. For wireless connectivity, there is Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, making it future-proof. In terms of dimensions, it is about 36 by 26 cm in width and depth. The thickness is under 1 inch, which is impressive for a performance-oriented laptop. It is also not too bulky for a gaming laptop as it is under 2.5 kg. It is completely made out of plastic, but this Eclipse Grey version has a metal lid which gives this laptop a solid and premium feel. The graphite black version, on the other hand, is plastic all around. I personally prefer the understated design of Eclipse Grey compared to graphite black, which has a more prominent gaming aesthetic. Opening the laptop with one hand is possible. The hinge feels well built and should be able to last long. However, it is not a 180-degree hinge. Because of the metal lid and good quality hinge, this display hardly has any wobble to it. Coming to the keyboard region, the plastic around the keyboard has a brushed metal texture which doesn't attract fingerprints and smudges. It feels like good quality plastic and the flex around keyboard is also well controlled. In terms of overall build quality, it feels pretty good and it is also certified for military grade durability, something definitely worth appreciating. Coming to the display, this is a 15.6-inch Full HD IPS LCD panel with 144Hz refresh rate and anti-glare coating. It is not a very high-end panel, so don't expect too much out of it. It has around 250 to 300 nits of peak brightness, which is good enough for indoor use but not bright enough for outdoor use. The color gamut is also limited, so it only covers around 62.5% of sRGB color space and about 47.34% of Adobe RGB color space. This is decent for normal use like watching movies or playing games, but if you are into professional photo or video editing, this panel just won't cut it. You'll need to connect an external display via HDMI or Thunderbolt to display more accurate colors. As most potential buyers of this laptop will be using it for gaming and entertainment, this display will do the job just fine. Content creators, however, will be slightly disappointed. Coming to audio, this laptop has stereo speakers with 2 watts of power per speaker. It gets adequately loud, but the bass is somewhat lacking. Still, the overall sound signature is nice. Here is an audio sample. This laptop comes with DTS-X Ultra. It lets you tweak the sound to your liking. It also offers virtual surround sound for immersive gaming. The keyboard in this laptop is actually very good. The keys are nicely spaced out, the travel distance is good, and the key press feedback is also nice. It also has a usable numpad. This keyboard is RGB backlit, however, it is only single zone RGB. The touchpad is of decent size, it feels nice to touch, and the gestures work well. But the best part is that it has physical buttons for left and right click. That's something I really appreciate. So overall, this keyboard and touchpad are very good. In fact, I actually typed the entire script of this video using this keyboard. That's nearly 2500 words long. Okay, so this is a 720p 30fps footage recorded with the built-in camera, and the sound is also being recorded with the built-in mic. As this laptop supports NVIDIA Broadcast app, you can make the video look much better and also make the audio sound much better with no background noise. In terms of upgrading, this laptop can be opened up by removing these screws and using a prying tool to open up the internal locks. Inside, you'll find 2 RAM slots that support up to a total of 32GB DDR4 RAM. You'll also find 2 M.2 slots for storage. Coming to software, this laptop comes pre-installed with Windows 10 Home, and Asus has already confirmed that this laptop will be upgraded to Windows 11 whenever it becomes available. This laptop also includes 1 year of McAfee LifeSafe antivirus. Other than these, there are 2 very useful utilities by Asus. My Asus app has features like battery health, system diagnosis, BIOS and driver updates, as well as pretty cool smartphone connectivity. With that, you can mirror your phone screen to the laptop or use your phone screen as a second wireless display for the laptop. You can also quickly transfer files between your phone and laptop wirelessly. Armoury Crate is the second utility app. This lets you switch between different performance profiles as well as monitor your system resources. These features can also be accessed with the phone. In terms of battery life, it will completely depend on your usage. You can use the integrated GPU for light tasks or switch to RTX 3060 for more demanding tasks. With light use like editing documents or browsing the internet or watching movies with headphones on, you can easily expect this laptop to last around 6 to 8 hours on iGPU mode. But if you want to do some heavy tasks like video editing or gaming using the RTX 3060, don't expect this laptop to last beyond 2 hours. For charging, you get a beefy 200 watt charger, which supports fast charging. So, it can charge this laptop from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes. 100% charging can be done in around 75 minutes. For those who want to know the length of the included charger, it is around 9 feet long in total, around 3 feet from the wall to the power brick, and around 6 feet from the power brick to the laptop. Finally, coming to the performance, first let's see the specs in detail, as that will tell a lot about the potential performance of the system. Starting with the CPU, the i5-11400H is actually based on Intel's new 10nm process, which is completely different from its desktop counterpart, which is still using Intel's old 14nm architecture. This processor has 6 cores, 12 threads, and has a maximum TDP of 45 watts. Coming to the GPU, the RTX 3060 is quite a beast with 3840 CUDA cores and 6GB GDDR6 memory. The maximum TGP is 95 watts in turbo mode, which is good but not the maximum this GPU can support. Jumping to benchmarks, this is how fast the internal 500GB storage is. Super impressive, right? I even tested the other M.2 slot with my Samsung 980 M.2 SSD, and the results were equally impressive. Therefore, both M.2 slots are equally fast, no compromises here. I didn't have any external drive that could test the maximum speed of the 40 gigabit Thunderbolt 4 port, but I tested my Samsung T7 drive, which is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabit drive, and it easily achieved its maximum speed of around 1 GB per second read and write. The same drive was limited to 500 MB per second when I connected it via USB 3.2 Gen 1 5 gigabit port. Coming to CPU benchmarks, this is the Geekbench 5 score. That single core score is better than many higher end laptop and desktop CPUs of the previous generation. And the multi-core score is also very impressive for a 6-core processor. And these are the results of Cinebench R15, R20 and R23. Again, very impressive numbers. Coming to the GPU, this is the 3D Mark Time Spy score, Fire Strike score, Wildlife Extreme score, and finally Port Royal score, which actually tests the real-time ray tracing capabilities of this GPU. All these results are extremely impressive, especially for a laptop GPU. Next, real-world applications. My work mainly revolves around After Effects, so this result makes me very happy as it is very close to what I get with my desktop. And with Blender, this laptop just blew me away. The RTX 3060 outperformed my GTX 1080 Ti by a huge margin, and that's just in CUDA. With RTX exclusive optics, the difference is night and day. Finally, let's talk about the gaming performance. In GTA 5, with every setting maxed out, these are the average FPS using the built-in benchmark tool. This game runs without any problem on this laptop. Next, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is one beautiful game, and it runs around the 60 FPS mark almost all the time, even with ultra settings. Similarly, the amazing Horizon Zero Dawn also runs at 60 plus FPS in ultra settings without any problem. Speaking of Horizon, Forza Horizon 4 easily crosses the 100 FPS mark using the ultra preset. Amazing, right? Basically, you can expect pretty much every game of the previous generation to run around 60 FPS or more with ultra settings. Coming to the newer games that support DLSS and ray tracing, Control easily crossed the 60 FPS mark with ultra settings and DLSS ray tracing both turned on. Same is the case with the Ascent. Even with so much going on, the game runs at 60 plus FPS all the time. Finally, with Battlefield 5, this laptop doesn't maintain a consistent frame rate but runs around 50 to 60 FPS most of the time. This is in high settings with DLSS and ray tracing turned on. Without ray tracing, this laptop can easily run Battlefield 5 at 90 plus FPS even in ultra settings. So basically, with the newer games using ray tracing, this laptop should be able to run most games at medium to high settings and sometimes even ultra at a very good frame rate. And finally, with esports games like Apex Legends, this laptop can easily run them at 100 plus FPS in ultra settings. With regards to temperature and throttling, I have nothing to complain about. I have never encountered any throttling and the temperature remains under 90 degrees at all times. 80 to 90 degrees might sound like a lot, but it's normal for computers when they are stressed to the max. The fans do get quite vocal when you really push the laptop, but the amount of hot air being pushed out through the rear and side vents is quite impressive. Okay, so to summarize the performance results, you can pretty much throw anything at this laptop and it will handle it just fine. This laptop is easily one of the most powerful laptops around 1 lakh rupees. Within the TUF F15 range, you can get the i7 11800H as well as the i9 11900H, both being octa-core CPUs. The highest end model also comes with a better display, which supports 240Hz refresh rate and 100% sRGB color gamut. The TUF A15 range is identical to F15 but with Ryzen 5000 series CPUs. It doesn't have a Thunderbolt 4 port but USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabit Type-C port. Everything else, including design, is pretty much identical. In terms of competition, HP Victus with Ryzen 7 and RTX 3060 is the closest competition, both in terms of performance and price. It lacks Thunderbolt 4, has a smaller battery, has non-RGB backlit keyboard, and slightly inferior build quality. But its display is bigger, brighter, and supports 100% sRGB color gamut. Okay, conclusion time. This laptop has good design and build, very good typing experience, amazing performance, respectable battery life, and a good selection of ports. The only weakness is the display, which is still fine for most users. In fact, great for gamers as it has 144Hz and adaptive sync. But for content creators, it will be a bit underwhelming. Still, as this laptop is mainly designed for indoor use, you can always connect a monitor to it and that issue will be resolved. So overall, this TUF F15 laptop is amazing. If you're looking for a high performance laptop around 1 lakh rupees or $1,500, this laptop definitely deserves to be on your shortlist. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel down below. Thanks for watching.